Hello. Good evening. Hello. It's been now a full week
Greetings.
of Gamedev streams, and I guess I'm still going with this. I don't actually know how long I'll keep
I'm
on doing
here.
this, but yeah. Hello, Genji. Welcome back. I missed you. Good buddy. Okay, right. Let me just quickly show you what I cobbled together. So, over the past week, we massively overhauled the representation of levels, and that broke pretty much everything. There's still a bunch of stuff that's broken, and the music is a bit too loud. But, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's also now improved, which is great. So, for instance, one thing that's definitely different is that now, thanks to the new level format, I can have as many layers of tiles as I want. By default, it's configured to be 5, plus one additional layer for the solids. So I can see it down here. I'm switching with the number keys. So now I can place some solids, which are only drawn when the editor is actually active. So I can do something like this, I guess. There we go. And then I can switch layer 0, pick a tile here, put that in there. There we go.
That sprite is really cute.
Thank you. There we go. Pluck that down a bit. I still need to tweak this tile sheet and obviously add more stuff, but yeah, for now, it's a quick demo, I guess. Let's also add a couple of things in the foreground.
Any plans on automatically detect edges for the tiles?
Yes. That's one of the features I had planned, which is to assign the tile sheet. Like each tile gets a specific kind of identifier, and the system will be able to use these identifiers to automatically fill in the tiles for a given set of solids. So if I draw something like this, it should be able to fill that in mostly automatically. Right, so ordering of things also works correctly now, so stuff overlaps and doesn't overlap as expected. Yeah. What is this? Let's... Oh, I picked the wrong thing. Whoops. There we go. Yeah. So, among things that are broken is climbing. Climbing does not work unless you...
Pretty good.
Unless you directly hug against the wall. So if I press right, I can sort of climb, but not really. If I just stand, it just doesn't climb at all. I don't know what that's about. Something to do with the collision detection. There's a few animations missing. I only have jumping, falling, running, and standing. So that's to be added later. Because I don't want to do yet another pixel art stream. And I'm sure there's other problems. Like, I think if I exit the chunk, then there's a problem that I think I bypassed. Yeah. But tonight, what I want to fix is primarily the collision detection, so that things work properly again. And if there's still time left over, which I don't know, when you debug, you never know how long it's going to take. I also need to fix the bucket fill, which broke somehow. I don't know how that happened. And maybe I'll get to look at re-adding slopes, which is a thing I did not... I removed from the game for a long time because I could never get it to run quite right. So maybe we'll get to that as well. But now, just from a game design perspective, now that I have a better idea of what I want to do, I do want to add slopes, just to make the level design a bit more expressive, at least in some instances. Yeah.
Sloop.
Sloopy slope, yeah. Alright, first though is figuring out what's up with collision, because that's a mess. And I'll try to tell you how it is a mess, with the hopes that doing so will make it clear to me how to not make it a mess, which I currently do not know. Oh, I just commented that out, okay. Alright, so, actually, let me open up Vita and make it drawn. It drawns.
The tiles are really nice. They visibly wrap, but it's subtle enough that it doesn't bother the eye.
Yeah, when I was making the tile sheet, Asprite does not have a way to like show tiling for single tiles in a sheet, and that's makes it basically impossible to do tiling anything. Why did that get so messed up? Tiling anything without like painstakingly manually doing it, and yeah, I just didn't want to do that. Alright, so let's see here. Right, so in Trial you have a representation of what's currently being drawn and what's reacting to events, called a scene. There we go, beautiful. And inside that scene are a bunch of entities. When you call draw, it just goes through the list of entities, calls draw on those. When an event arrives, it just goes through a list of handlers, which are different from the entities, and calls those. But typically, handlers for events are tied to an entity, and when the entity is entered into the scene, all the handlers get added to the scene's event loop. Now, what the change from last week did was basically put all the level content into another thing called a region. So we have a region. There we go. And now within that region you have things like the player and a chunk that the player can be in. So we have this chunk. There we go. I should have written it with a J, am I right, folks? Alright, and play. There we go, fantastic. And in other things in the scene could be like, I don't know, the HUD or whatever. So you can have things like that in there as well. Stuff that's not actually part of the game world, but is still reacting to events or being drawn or doing anything. So the HUD and the UI will be inside the scene, but not inside the region. And the player is inside a chunk, and inside the region can be multiple chunks that make up the game world. Now, when you do collision detection, it's currently there's a single reference to the currently active scene called plus level. And before we had this separation into a region, what it used to do was just loop through all the objects in the level and test them for collision. And now that that doesn't work anymore, because the region doesn't do collision detection over everything, I had to do some quick amends to make it just retrieve the region from the level and test that instead. Go through that and test it instead. But that's still not great. Because if you have a lot of chunks in there, you're going to test a lot of stuff that's really unnecessary and not relevant at all. And so what I would like to do instead of all this is to... Actually, this diagram is slightly wrong. Hold on. How do I... Where's the magic wand? Okay. Player is inside the region, not inside the chunk. My bad. fucked up. Oh god. Oh my god, what is happening? Oh, it's not that. Okay.
Oh no!
There we go. So, player is there. But visually, of course, it's gonna be in the chunk, just not structurally. Okay. And you could have like another kind of thing in here. Like, I guess, a movable thing, like a platform. Oh my god, I hate using a mouse to draw anything. Platform. There we go. Genius. Okay. So now my idea is, to make this better, is currently the player always has a reference to the chunk it's currently in. And it does that when you switch a chunk or when you switch a level, it automatically retrieves the current chunk. And it needs that reference in order to be able to detect when it goes outside of chunk bounds. When it goes outside of chunk bounds, it needs to do two things. First, it needs to check whether where it currently is another chunk, and if so, switch to that and make a transition happen. And if not, it needs to die. And so the player already has a reference to that chunk thing and could use that for collision detection. And what you can do instead now, instead of testing everything in the region, is we can make the platform and all the other kinds of entities within the chunk. We take those and we move them inside the chunk so that they're now part of the chunk rather than part of the region directly. And then when the player does collision detection, it just checks for the chunk and everything else that the chunk contains. And by that way, we automatically get sort of not an Ox tree, but a spatial separation of entities and reduce the number of things we need to test. And in general, it avoids a lot of headaches, I would guess. The only problem with this approach is if we have entities like NPCs that can move between chunks, the logic is going to get annoying for making sure that they move properly across them and persist cleanly. But currently I don't have any plans for that, and I don't... well, actually I do have some plans for that, for cutscenes if necessary, but that's way down the line, and I think it's an easier problem to solve than trying to do a collision detection optimization on the entire region or whatever. So I think we're going to go do that. Which means now the region is a container unit, and that means the chunk is also going to become a container unit, and the scene is also one. So now these three are going to be containers, and it's going to be nested in there. The player is still going to be within the region rather than the chunk, so that we can move freely between things without having to give up control to the chunk itself. So that's the current plan, I think. The only problem is... there is no problem. Never mind. Seems fine. I thought I had an idea for a problem, and turns out I do not. Great. Alright. Let's see. First, the chunk. Chunk. How are we gonna do this? Right, so you need to be a container unit, which is container. What is the default thing? Make indexed set. It's just a queue. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, so container units, we discussed those for the region, but we didn't actually use the standard storage that it uses. So the underlying library called Flare has a data structure called a indexed set, which is based on a queue. And the idea is that the queue is basically a double-ended list, but it also has a hash table with a pointer from each element in the list to its containing cons, so that you can quickly in constant time remove an element from the set, and also test for, you know, set properties such as containment, which is a good kind of general structure for what I need to do, because, you know, it's not predictable in general in a game which things you're going to remove when or add and when. So being able to do constant time removal and addition to the set and preserving deterministic iteration is important. It's probably not the best way you could implement that, but it's been working alright, and I have not needed to change it so far. I don't know. If anyone has an idea for actually proven good data structures for the scene graph or something like that, let me know. I will be interested in that. I have not researched it. Okay, so now it's a container unit. Fantastic. Now that means we need to change some stuff around. So let me actually check where this global level is accessed. And it's accessed a lot. Not great. So many things that are probably really broken now. Leave particle. Guess that's fine. I don't like it, but it's fine. That is also fine. That is also fine. That is also fine. Let's see. Query. That is... That is also fine. And this is also fine. No idea about moving. Editor most definitely is not fine, mostly. Okay, so we retrieve the region and we do tests across the region. Okay, that's fine. That is not fine. I guess I could add a scan method to the level that does that by default. Though I think it's better if you add a thing to the surface is what it's called. Method enter. I don't know if I'm gonna need the moving for other things, but so far the separation has not hurt me much, so I'm gonna leave it in. Okay, now instead of doing this, we can do good, fix me. Okay. Yeah, there was one more. Oh, right. Okay. That is also fine. These are probably not fine. Let's check. Issue interaction. That's actually fine. Don't have an issue. This would be fun, never mind. Wait, don't I have a helper? Take care of that. No. Should probably do that. Maybe later. Okay. Enter dust. Yeah, we've done that. That's just a dust cloud all the time. Yeah, that's fine. I do want to do a couple of streams soon where I do like look at doing effects like snowing and stuff like that in a bit of a non-default way. So I want to do snow as entirely in a fragment shader, so no explicit particles, just randomness plus time, and see how if I can get a snowflake effect that looks alright. That could be an interesting experiment. Okay, right, so this is the...
That sounds like fun, actually.
Yeah. There's a lot of effects like that can be fun to experiment around with. Some kind of like distortion effect is another thing I want to try at some point. Because you do play as a robot.
How about a sandstorm effect?
Sure, could do that too. Okay, so for now, longer contained in the surface. So surface is always true. We scan for another chunk, and if we're within that chunk, we return it, and if we have another one, then we switch, and otherwise we die. Good. Okay, I think that's fine. Progressions are fucked up. I need to... Actually not sure why that is screwed up. Does it not... I forget. Animated sprite facing... Where does it enter the progressions? I don't know. There was some error with the progressions that I did not have a look at. Progressions are this, and essentially it is Flare is the underlying animation library, and it allows you to explicitly define animations through tweenings. So this, for instance, adds a sort of a... It animates a bokeh filter and a sort of a blinking effect, like your eyes are blinking. So there's stuff like that you can do with it. It was primarily initially intended for animating individual particles, but since I, implemented an animation system, I found other uses for it. Anyway, something is up with its progressions, which are basically animations, and I don't know what. I'll have to take a look at that as well. Okay, anyway, so those are fine. Helper's fine. Player's fine. That is fine for now. It's also fine. that should... We do have a... Yes, so that should probably be T. Okay, the moving platform, I have no idea what is. It's a game entity. Chunk does not work for this, no background assessment. What is this? Gonna be honest with you, moving platform stuff it never worked quite right. And I'm actually just gonna delete all of this and redo it at some other point, because I estimate that figuring out how it works and what's wrong with it is gonna take me longer than if I just started from scratch. Which is a feeling I get a lot at a time. Okay, mouse press entity at point. What is that here? Okay. Oh, so a hot patch that. Okay, that's fine for now. Though that is gonna give me a problem if entities are now within the chunk. Because how does it determine, well... I guess I can just make it a generic function and then have the second argument dispatch. So actually, let me do that. Where is that in helpers? Okay. That's point, entity, base, entity. When contained p point. Yes, replace it. Good. And then it's gonna so that should now recurse. And that's good. Okay. We still need to add an explicit test in a chunk. Right, so I'm actually not sure what the effective method is going to be for the chunk for this. What was it called? I already forgot. Oh dear. Entity at point. And Base entity comes before container. That's no good. There we go. That's what I wanted. Good. Okay, chunk. So this is a thing that, you know, if you start to really use class, you start to become aware of how important it can be that you get the order in here exactly right. Because depending on how complicated your method combinations are, that's going to be life or death for your program flow. Anyway, right, so let's put that here. So now we need to do a check.
Yeah.
So we either do the internal test, and if that returns something, then we're fine. If not, then when we have if point is within the chunk, then we just return a chunk. So this way it'll always return the most specific thing you're clicking on or looking at that point. Okay. But now the painting also needs to be fixed. Right, so size, blah blah blah. Size. Fix me. It's just a future-proofing note. Paint. Target. That should be alright, I think. Okay. I hope that's correct. I'm a slight bit worried for some reason. Okay, right. So now the chunk should be ready to hold things, and we should be checking the chunk only for collision detections. Actually, wait, scan is not yet done. Okay. So scan is a motherfucker of a function. I'm not sure that I like how it works. But yeah, yeah, there's a whole bunch of hooey, yeah, I don't know if I like it. No, actually, I don't like it, but, okay, so how did the scan for the level work? Scan 4 as well. Don't need that anymore. What a light class. I like it. Okay. what is the point of scan for? I mean, I know what the point is, but I'm not sure if I'm even using it in a useful way. Let's see, where is it used? It's only used to scan for solids and then for interactables. The only difference is that it's doing a type check over the regular scan. The reason I added that is why does the regular scan not only scan for solids? Huh? Now I'm confused. Well, what? No. So the only place where that happens is here and here, which does a scan. Okay. This is needs to be removed anyway. Ugly hacks in there, yeah. Let's take. Okay. My head is swirling. I don't know. So, my current feeling is that scan should only ever scan for solids anyway. And if we ever need to scan for something non-solid, then we should do a different kind of test or an explicit iteration over the chunk to do that with. So I think I can remove scan 4 because that should be the exact same as scan. So right, so that's used in moving. It's used here, and it's gross. This I do not like. Scan the surface for that point. Yeah, I even remarked here that it's pretty stupid. So let's just comment that out for now. Does that contain P? Oh, contain P, okay. Entity. Okay. Okay. Good. That's cleaned up. So now the only thing that's left to do is to test for other kinds of entities within the scan of the chunk itself. So we do a sweep, a BB through the tiles, scan through objects, Not sure why the restart is necessary. What is this? Oh man, there's a whole bunch of bullshit in here about a way to decline a collision detection. And I don't even remember where that's used. I know it was an ugly, ugly, ugly hack. That,
Such beautiful code.
yeah, I know, right? So essentially the idea was that if the collision is declined, it'll continue searching for another collision. And the reason for that was, for instance, if you have, okay, this is not going to look great, but so hear me out. So you have a tile grid like this, right? And then one of these tiles turns out to be a slope. Sort of like this, or
It's gonna be great.
so for instance you have something like this, right? So
With very slightly different sized tiles.
yeah, whatever. So you have a slope like this, right? And now you have an object. Let me draw that a bit different. So now you have an object, right? And that object is moving this way. Now, obviously, for this tile here, we don't have a collision, right? Because it's not going to intersect with this lower half of the tile. But for this one, if it's moving fast enough, so if it's moving until here, or let's make that a bit bigger actually. If within one frame it's moving like this, then obviously we're going to have an intersection around here, right? So the first tile, even though it is filled with something, the collision needs to be declined because it shouldn't need to care that something is there. But then for the second one, it should realize, oh, we have a collision here, I want to handle this. And so that's why it needs to be able to scan further. But I'm actually not even sure that that's a good way of doing slopes. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not a good way of doing slopes. I just don't know how to do the good way. So, it's something I cobbled together. And it makes things really gross and difficult. So yeah. Yeah. If you need to be able to, like, say a collision isn't actually happening, so if the collision sort of needs to be refined in another function, things just get really bad. And so I'm not sure what to do about this. But I'm pretty sure this declining stuff is not a good idea. So let me... see where this is used. Right, so... let me just rip this out for now. Sweep through tiles, scan through entities. If we don't have a result, then we do that. What is this about? If it's pointing upwards and... what? We're below it, then it's declined. Shouldn't even happen. I get a feeling that was a kludge. Let's just remove it for now. Okay. Okay, that's gotten rid of. Good. My soul feels lighter. Okay. It's not the target, and we do have a hit. We do have a hit, and distance is less. Then we update the results. What is the lock? Pause. What is lock? Something. Oh. Well, in any case, I think that should be right. Okay. I really, for game development, I really wish I had some kind of inspector thing that continuously shows me values, like an observer kind of deal, so I can observe some values. Like for instance, in the moving, there's a list of collisions on the sides, top and bottom, and those will be really useful to be able to observe as they change, because printing is yuck. Yeah. Yeah.
That'd actually be a really cool tool to make.
I don't know if it will be easy to make though, because of what? What? Oh god, I think there's a problem with the chunk being also something that's being drawn. Because... trial, shader... pipeline... container... No... melee... Oh wait, right, that should be the cross. Yes. So... wait, that's an offer. Huh? Oh my god. So it reduces the thing. Profile text. Why is that called so many times? Oh, different. Wait, what? I'm confused. So it does go into the chunk. Huh? It does go into the player. I'm so confused. Please don't remind me. What is the array container? Don't you remember that? Don't. Per object pass container is the first one. Object pass container. Why do I have that same method duplicated so many times? I'm so confused. Because there's this one. that already does that. Yeah, so this method is completely superfluous. Okay. It should be gone. Yeah, shader entity per object plus T. And then the offer and then container. Object. Which is also superfluous. Where? Okay, good. That should fix some stuff, maybe. Yep. Okay. Now it's selecting the region. Why? That shouldn't happen. Trace. Okay. Let me just really quickly clean up bogus register. Completely forgot to push that this morning, huh? Okay. Where is the entity point? There it is. Trace entity. Okay. Empty level. And it goes into region. The region says. Okay. It goes into the chunk. And that returns the chunk. Why does it go into that so many times? Oh, I see. But still. So wait. Does that return a result? Yes, it does. So that does return a thing. Wait, yeah, that returns the chunk. Good. Nil, 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 nil. And then it returns the region. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why? But how? Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm a dingleberry. There you go, that should fix it. Can actually do that. Yes! Grande. Very good. Okay. So that works. Nice. Nice. Good.
Perfect.
Now let's see if collision still works. Simple thing here.
Noise.
Nope. Come back. Okay, so collision obviously does not work. Can I like single step this somehow?
Did you use the correct layer?
Yes, you cannot place solids on the wrong layer. As you can see, they're red here. Okay. So let's this is gonna be terrible, but how do I do that? Trace. I forget. Scan. Break T or something. Let me check. Report break T. Yes, I think. Or not. It's not a valid function. How do you do that again? Think like that. So now if it's... yeah, it should break. Okay, so this is fine. Yeah, this is gonna take 3 billion years. Like this. Ugh. Where was the... moving, right. Let's do that instead. Or not? What is happening? Okay, evidently that does not work. Oh, it uses scan 4. In fact, I think I should scan for that first. Or should I? Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Some more problems fixed. Ah, fuck. Wrong all the way around, bro. I can guarantee you this is not gonna work. Also, let me just do a fix that's a bit easier, so I can at least reuse tests. Okay, OB, if you die, where's the die method? Set a... set a... There we go. So if I die now, it should just keep respawning me. Good. Excellent. Oh. Oh, now it's lagging like super hard. Great. Why? What did I ever do wrong?
Before the salt and roiling sea, the moon began to cry. The valley ran with sorrowful tears and filled the water.
Yeah.
The misty morning over the brine.
Why is it so laggy? I don't understand.
The stars all hide away from the chill until the evening rise.
What the fuck?
Oh,
I don't understand.
The place where Plurna scuttled her foe, the doomed ship still resides. The Titan met her end on its prow, forsaken by.
Oh, now I remember why you needed a decline for this. Okay. Yeah, you have a similar problem when you have pass-through platforms. So a platform that you should be able to jump through from one side, because if the player is moving like this, right, then it's going to detect a collision with this platform, but because you're coming from below, it should just not regard that and continue scanning until it finds this one, which you are going to collide with. So as it is, you're gonna glitch into walls if you jump right. Yeah, I don't know. I think one way that is, I faintly remember being recommended by some kind of blog entry or whatever, is to do decoupled collision detection, which means you're going to process the X and Y axis separately. First doing only an X scan or a Y scan, I don't remember which, and then you detect collision with this, and then after that you can do the collision resolution and you can detect the Y movement after that, which I might have to do. I don't quite know yet. But no, wait, that doesn't make any sense, does it? I guess it, yeah, no, that works out with... Does that? No, that doesn't make any sense. That, to me, sounds like there's gonna be problems with edges. I don't know. Anyway, this is bizarre. Why is it taking so much time now? Why is it so goddamn slow? Let me see. Also, my room is a fucking boiling pot right now. It's so hot. Let me see if it's actually any colder outside. Probably not, but... Nope, about the same. Damn it.
Don't die.
I'll try. I'll try. Okay, so what is the problem with this?
Take your shirt off.
What is this? Voyeurism? No, that's a joke. Why is that? I don't understand. Is it already in the ground somehow? No, right? No, it's on top of it. Zoom in. Zoom in. Look at that. So perfect. I don't know what's happening. Why is it doing that?
Zoom in and enhance.
Why did it? Oh, I'm a fucking retard. So it only ever detects one collision for each round. I'm very confused. Oh, now it works? What? Did it have stale changes in here? Okay, well, I'll take it. It's fine by me. Alright, let me see if I can show you what I meant with the collision problem. Let's build this. Let's actually make it a wall. And then add some pass-through tiles here. Okay. So, yeah, that's already a problem. It snaps me up. Why does that happen? That's an interesting one. Whoa. Where is that happening? Oh shit. Fuck. Okay. Oh right, because it's not declining. Yeah, I really don't know how to deal with that. Deal with collisions that don't actually happen. Because there needs to be an order to collision detection. So The way it works is... Actually, let me show you on this instead. So... I'm gonna use this. Can you see this blue color? I hope you can. Yeah. So the way it works is, let's assume the player is just moving to the left, right? And so the player has a fixed velocity that they're gonna perform in that frame in one step. And then what it does, let's assume the velocity...
Very barely.
Okay, very barely. Let's use a different color then.
Yep.
Let's assume they're moving all the way to here, so they have a very high velocity. So what the program does is it scans along that direction, so this region here, and it takes that region and it goes through all the tiles in that region. So it might go from left to right or right to left, I don't actually know. And then it sees, okay, so here's nothing, here's nothing, here's nothing, here's nothing, here's something. And it performs a collision detection against this tile here. And it sees, okay, this is going to collide, let me record that. And then it's going to continue doing that. And it's going to record these six here as potential collision candidates. And then at the end, it's going to take the closest one, whichever that may be, and then do the collision resolution. And obviously, knowing which one is closest is important, because otherwise we would test against this one. If we just pick the first one, we would get it stuck in the wall immediately, because it would just teleport us here. So ordering the objects by proximity is actually important, but that lands us in the other kind of problem of what happens if you have something that doesn't actually collide. Like for instance, if, say, the player is moving from, let's say they're standing here, right? And now they're moving upwards. So now they may be moving, let's add a thing here. Please add a thing. Where is it? Oh my god. Where is it? The right key. Ah, I'm hitting all the wrong keys. There we go. So let's say we have walls up here, which are not shown. What is happening? Huh? I'm very confused now. Just want to explain this game, please. Huh? What the fuck? Whoa, why? I can't draw anything anymore, it just resets. What the fuck is happening? Okay, fine. Oh my god, why? What the fuck? What did that change? I don't understand. What happened? I didn't edit anything, right? Huh? What? I didn't change any code, right? I'm not... Huh? What is this?
Do an undo to check.
An undo of... No, I just removed the print. What is this? Why is the tile disappearing? Is it like... Is it stuck? Okay. Don't ask me what the fuck was happening. Anyway, let me get back to the example now. Okay, so as I was saying, assume now the player is moving upwards, right? So again, we mark the region that they're gonna go, like this, and then we scan for things that it might collide with. So it might collide with this, might collide with that, and now this is the closest, but the chunk doesn't actually know what that tile does. It can only know that there's something there, and so it reports a collision against this. But that's not actually going to collide at all, so yeah. I guess I need to separate things into two phases so that during collision check in the chunk, it can call a function to test whether the collision is going to apply at all. And then it can report back that no, it's not gonna, and it can discard that. And then once it has that, all of that, it can actually, you know, for sure tell you what it's going to collide with. So I think I'm gonna go do that. So do I have a def generic for collide? Nope, do not. Collides P. So probably default collides P is going to be true. So surface. Okay, and for this, we need to check if it does. And then in the chunk, if we have an AABB hit, and here there's none. Or okay, right. So if this should already be enough by my estimation. I did things right, which I probably did not. But let's check a look. unknown type specifier moving platform. What? Oh my god. Nope, not quite right yet. I mean, I do land on it, but it zips me right up. What is happening here? The fuck? Emacs, please. Okay, let me just... Okay. Y is negative, then it's moving downwards, right? So... Hmm? Huh? Never called at all? What do you mean? Huh? Oh, right, because it's an OR, it never... I'm a dumbass. Okay. It needs to be here. Yes, good, works. Yeah, excellent. Okay, yeah, so that works now. And that should work smoothly, nicely, no matter what. Excellent. Okay.
Super cool.
What time is it? Let's take a shot at slopes. So, the way slopes are defined is solids. Where is that? Surface. There it is. So each slope is a tile that has an L and an R value. The L and R values are the pixels on the left hand and right hand sides of elevation. So let's have a look at those. Let me go quick. So we have a block 16, right. So we have these slopes here. Alright, so we have a slope from 0 to 16, from 16 to 0. So these correspond to these two. And then we have a slope from 0 to 8, this one, the slope from 8 to 16, this one, 16 to 8, 8 to 0, 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 16, and then back down again. So these correspond to these slope tiles here. And now, the difficulty is this method. Collides P. Okay. Let's first do just straight nil, so that we can just place some blocks here. There we go. So now we should just go through, yeah, That was kind of glitchy. Interesting. What was that? Whoa. Whoa. Oh, okay. So now the, it's noticing the pass-through platform as a thing to climb on, I think, or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, that's for another time, because I kind of want to do this now. Let's mark that up. What is closest to the slope? I guess that. Okay. Actually, can I just... let me do something real quick. To place... There you go. So now I should be able to actually place these tiles too. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Yes. Where is that print? Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, so how do we do this? Let me think. Actually, I thought I had a tutorial on that. Let's see if I can retrieve that somewhere. No, I don't have it in my box marks. Shame on me. 2D slopes. It's probably somewhere in my browser history, but man, digging through that, no thank you. It's a really, really good write-up of 2D platformer physics and stuff. Didn't have any code in it, which is what was the nice part. I think I just found it. Yes, I found it. It's called The Guide to Implementing 2D Platformers. Yes. Okay, let's see what he says. Make sure you step X before Y. During collision detection, the slope only counts as collision if its closest edge is the taller right. You might want to forbid slopes to stop halfway through. Okay. Alright, so... Not slop. Slope. So if left is lower than right, then we're going upwards, which means we need to have the X movement bigger than 0. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is still giving me headaches. This guide is actually not as good as I remember it being. I'll need to think this out for myself at some point. Not tonight though, obviously. Anyway, so if we're moving in the direction of the slope, or against the slope rather, and the updated Y position is lower than the top, then we're gonna have a collision most likely. Plus the Y. I think the hit locations are also centered, so velocity. Okay, right, we get stuck. Unsurprising. What is a bit surprising is that we get inside the thing anyway. Well, not necessarily. And now it's completely fucked, right? Okay, I'm not gonna be able to do this tonight, because I'm kind of buzzed out. And I can't really think anymore, so... yeah. So I'm gonna need to draw some stuff on my own and think through how to do slopes and stuff like that. And either I'm gonna do that on my own tomorrow, or if not, then it's gonna be on stream tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, that should be interesting. Having slopes will be really neat. Real nifty. Yeah.
Alright, that's fair.
Okay, I'm just gonna... More fixes and other crap.
I'll be on the lookout for it tomorrow.
Okay. There we go. Changes pushed. Oh right, the point test is still something that was broken. Maybe I can fix that real quick. Let's have a look at that. Okay. Guy. So that's easy to test in the very least. Because... I can just see if I can climb or not. I cannot. Still need to do that for some reason. So why are these failing?
Their journey began on a barren waste where the reader arrived,
So these are never triggering, huh?
afraid and alone.
Why?
When they arrived, book of rights awakened the night wings.
Actually, let me also really quickly check how I did things in my other game.
They follow the stars, bound together. Strands in our brain
If I could only remember where that was.
we sing of the last of the night wings who, having broken the cycle,
Left, right.
shall live on in song.
Okay, so I had a left and a left corner. Okay. Yeah, and the left corner for corner thingies. Okay. Alright, let's do that instead.
That he was no deserter.
Left.
He
Right.
stayed true till the end.
Captain Joe Dariel, keeping watch over all of the night wings. She stayed true to the end.
Rookie Greentail, small in size but vast in commitment. He stayed true to the end. They follow the stars, bound to
Whoa. What?
strands in a brain.
That's weird. Why?
The moon
So the scan for single hits does not work correctly. Because even if I increase that by 10, yeah, it still does not show that. So we scan the surface, which should be the chunk, right? Yes, good. Okay. So that should go in here. Oh, I see what the problem is. The access tile, and it does this by default, and that should not be the case. There we go. Yeah, works now. That was an easy fix. Nice. Probably still need to change how the climbing and everything works because I'm not quite happy with it yet. Yeah. It's too fast for one. That one is easy fix, but the other one is not so much.
Mastermind, Wilfred Sandalwood saw his plans turn to action. He stayed true till the end.
Yeah.
The bog dweller Bertrude kept her foes at bay with her finest enchantments.
Whoa!
She stayed
What the
true
fuck?
till the end.
The reader at last made the night wings whole, having bound them together. They stayed true to the end. They follow the stars, bound together. Strength in a break till the end. They follow the stars, bound
Much better. Okay.
as we bid farewell and return to the stars.
Okay. Alright. One more fix.
We shall
I'll do the corner stuff another time. There we go. The corner stuff is if you have a thing like this and then you have a corner that you want to climb up, it should automatically take you over that corner. So instead of doing this, it should smoothly go over it automatically, and that's doable. But yeah, it's a behavior I need to add. Anyway, music's over, stream is over. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow, I hope. Good night.